Hi everyone, welcome to All Levels Yoga. It is Thursday morning. So you'll need a strap, possibly need a strap today as we start on our back. So just set that strap aside on the floor and let's come down onto our backs, bending the knees into your chest. And just take a moment here as you hug in your knees to ground your tailbone, head, and shoulders. If your head needs a prop to be on, like a folded blanket, it can be helpful. And perhaps close your eyes. Take a moment here to ground yourself in however you're feeling in your body, in your heart, in your energy. Perhaps setting an intention or sankalpa for your practice today. As you begin to deepen your breath, take hold of your knees bent and start to circle your thighs apart and together several times to warm up your hips, to massage your lower back. I'm going to start reading from the book Meditations from the Mat, beginning with a quote by Thomas Merton. When the heart is right, for and against are forgotten. The state of spiritual ignorance is fear. So going back to the past few days, we've been reviewing what the Yoga Sutras calls the 5 root causes of human suffering, all rooted in the mind. So this is one of them. So continue to circle your legs, just a few more breaths. In the dark, as to our true nature, we are afraid. So we spend our days trying to protect a self we envision as being weak and vulnerable to attack. The world is split into things that can make us feel less afraid and things that make us even more afraid. On the mat, we experience this vague fear as an inability to know peace for more than fleeting moments. All right, let's start the next posture. Set your left foot on the ground as you bend both knees. Turn out your right thigh from the hip. And as you flex your right foot, cross your right ankle like a figure 4 shape on top of your left thigh. Now take a moment to press your right hand lightly into the top inner side of your right thigh, and that's close to your hip crease, not your knee. Gently splaying your right thigh open so that you feel that external rotation of your thigh bone at your hip. Deepening your breath. If it's feasible for you, close your lips so that you start to create warmth by breathing sustain and evenly just through your nose. So now let's thread the right hand between your thighs, using both hands to catch hold of your left thigh or shin. As you keep your head and shoulders resting down, begin to bring your left leg closer and closer to your torso for a few breaths. At the beginning of Shavasana, or corpse pose, we lie back and it's fine. The instructions of the teacher guide us toward a resting place. The energy of our practice swirls around us and our body feels loose and tired in a wholesome way. Life is good. Then our fear reasserts itself. I really should call my mother. That was a great practice. I'm finally getting it. This was a bad practice and I'm going downhill and I'll be fat forever. If we're lucky, we will calm down and resettle into the peace of Shavasana. As often as not, however, our fears are off to the races and we will simply lie there, going over the same old ground, recycling the same old fears. Let's take one more breath on this side of Thread the Needle. At the end of your exhalation, set your 2 feet on the ground with knees still bent. And just pause, observing any difference you feel on your left and right hips. Now nurturing a soft whispering sound to your breathing by gently constricting the back of your throat, known as Ujjayi Pranayama. Turning out your left thigh at the hip, flex your left foot and cross the ankle over your right thigh. And then take a moment to gently press your left palm on the top inner side of your left thigh, helping the turnout of your left femur at your hip. Shoulders and head relaxing down. Then from here, thread your left arm between your thighs, catching hold of your right thigh or shin with two hands. Slowly bring your right leg closer while splaying your left thigh open. Continuing on. This is asmita, Sanskrit for an exaggerated sense of I-ness or self-centered fear. The asana restore balance to our bodies and our spirits. And over time, they address asmita as well. Many postures require us to be unafraid. Others require us to let go, to surrender parts of ourselves, while other aspects of ourselves are being strong and expansive. Still, others fold us back into ourselves. We experience ourselves over again as a tree, a fish, a crow, a dog, a child, a crane, not separate, but one with all creation. Asana, isolated self, as water wears away a rock, settles, and for and against fade like shadows before the sun. Finishing this breath, at the end of your exhalation, reset your 2 feet on the ground, come into that neutral position of both bent knees, and relax for a moment to observe the effects of that asana. Noticing perhaps what may have contracted within you or what may have loosened or any shift. Still nurturing the balance in your breath. Take your strap and bending your right knee into your chest, step the ball of your right foot either into the loop or middle of the strap. Bringing your right arm inside of your right leg, take hold of the strap with your right hand, and with your left hand on the very top of your left thigh, just under the hip bone, begin to flex your left foot and straighten your left leg towards the floor, while opening your right bent knee out to your right side, lifting the sole of your foot towards the sky as if just your right leg was in happy baby pose. Now continue relaxing both shoulders down into the ground as you lengthen your neck. Use the weight of your left palm on your left thigh to help ground the back of your left hip evenly as your right hip. As we're opening up the outer right hip and thigh here, also sort of ventilating or creating space in an area that can feel compressed with stress. Your sacrum and your lumbar spine. Let's take one more deep breath. Now, removing the strap from your right foot, step your right foot on the ground, step the ball of your left foot into the strap. Second side, holding the strap with your left hand, arm inside of your left leg. Place your right hand just beneath your right hip bone and straighten your right leg to the floor while flexing the foot. Bend your left knee to the outside of your left shoulder, lifting the sole of your left foot to face the sky. Now feel the balance of the back of your 2 hips rooted onto the floor. Same with your shoulders balanced on the ground. Let's Let's take one more deep breath on this side. Then put the strap aside and let's take a full happy baby pose, bending both knees to the outsides of your shoulders, either catching your calves or outer feet. As you parallel your feet wide apart, turn the soles to face the sky. Round your tailbone and shoulders to feel the full length of your spine as though you're trying to flatten your back against the ground. Slightly tilt your chin down towards your sternum, and let's take 3 deep breaths here. Now slide your hands to the outsides of your thighs and close your knees together, keeping your feet off the floor. Slide your pelvis, well, you have to put your feet down for this first. Slide your pelvis a few inches to the right, open both arms like a T. Grounding your shoulders, drop your thighs both to the left while turning your gaze past your right shoulder. Now keeping your right shoulder on the ground, bring your attention to your right outer hip. Imagine tilting it forward, that's away from your torso, and slightly towards your feet in an effort of tractioning your lower spine. Let's take one more deep breath here. And exhaling, contract your belly, lift your knees, and recenter your pelvis onto your mat. Now slide your pelvis a little closer to the left side of your mat, lift your feet up, and grounding your left shoulder as you look past it, twist to your right side. With your left shoulder remaining on the earth, bring your attention to your left outer hip. Tilt it slightly forward, away from your torso, towards your feet. Paying attention to your breath. Hear the full arrival at fullness, top of your inhale. Completely release to the bottom of your exhale. On your next breath out, roll all the way over to the side your knees are bent towards, and then press the ground away. Find a quick, comfortable seat where you can join your hands together at your heart. Close your eyes, drop your chin towards your chest. And let's open space with a vibrational sound of Om. Take a deep belly breath. Breathing in and out through your nose again with a soft whispering sound. Gently open your eyes. If you have yoga blocks, please bring them to the outsides of the front of your mat. And let's come to stand at the top of your mat in mountain pose, with feet apart, hips distance, spreading your toes. Parallel your second toes and ground down through the 4 corners of each foot. Feel a rise up through the center of your spine, your crown, as you relax your shoulders, palms facing forward. This posture is also called Samastitihi, which is Sanskrit for equal standing pose. So feel a sense of equilibrium, especially through the left and right sides of your body. Take a deep breath in and sweep your arms overhead, gazing up. Keep your shoulders relaxed. As you exhale, bring your arms behind you and interlace your fingers. As you inhale, roll your shoulders back and coil your chest up. Keep your tailbone lengthening down. As you exhale, bend your knees and bow over your legs slowly. Tilting your weight a little more towards your toes. Inhale, lift your chest. and broaden it forward. Bending your elbows together, exhale, fold again. Allow your sitting bones to rise as you drop your skull, stretching your arms forward here for about 3 more breaths. Now loosening up your neck, lift your shoulder bones away from it. Turning your head or nodding your head a few times. Relax your jaw. Then start to bend your knees a lot into a modified chair. Graze the ground with your fingertips as you reach your arms forward and up. Glide your weight towards your heels and draw your tailbone down as you lift the heart. Take another inhalation in modified Utkatasana chair pose. Pressing down again to the 4 corners of your feet. Join your hands at your heart and exhale, rise all the way up. Back to Samastitihi. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Gaze up. Exhale, backstroke your arms and clasp your hands. Inhale, coil your chest up, bend your elbows close together. Exhale, bend your knees and bow over your legs. Tilting your weight forward. Inhale, lift your chest, rise halfway with bent knees. Exhale, fold again, dropping your skull, stretching your arms forward, shoulders away from your neck. Inhale, bend your knees a lot, raise your fingertips on the ground as you reach your arms forward, modified chair. Exhale, press down to your feet and rise up, back to mountain. Once more, inhale, circle your arms overhead, gaze up. Exhale, backstroke your arms and interlace the opposite thumb and index on top. Inhale, coil your chest up, draw your tailbone down. Exhale, bend your knees and bow over your legs. Inhale, lift your chest, hug your elbows closer together. With knees still bent, exhale, fold even deeper, drawing your weight forward, arms forward. Inhale, bend your knees a lot to modified chair, graze your fingertips on the ground and reach them forward and up. Press to your feet and exhale, rise up to stand, back to Samastitihi or Tadasana. Entering Sun Salutation A, inhale, circle your arms up. Exhale, bow forward into Uttanasana. Inhale, press the ground, blocks or your legs, lengthen forward. Carefully step into your version of plank pose where we're going to pause for 3 breaths, feeling a long spine as you lift your navel towards it, knees on the ground or legs actively straight, firming the fronts of your thighs. Shoulders are right over your wrists as you broaden your chest forward. And as you exhale, glide forward as far as you can, bend your elbows back so you feel your arms graze your side ribs, keep your neck long, gaze forward, and lower all the way down. Point your toes and firm the tops of your feet on the earth. Hug your elbows close. And inhale, coil your chest up, looking on the ground ahead in Cobra. Tuck your toes, press up through hands and knees or plank, and lift your pelvis back to Downward Dog. First, downward facing. You might choose to take the first few breaths to just shift around organically, pedaling your feet, maybe stretching a leg up to the sky than the other, or moving your skull and making sure your neck is relaxed. Spread your fingers really wide and flat. Feel the ground firmly between your thumb and index fingers. Point your index fingers straight forward, not towards each other. Then wrapping your triceps or outer upper arms towards the ground, broaden across your shoulders and release your neck. Gazing at the floor towards your feet. Take 2 more breaths. Now bending your knees a lot, lift your heels and hips high, look forward. At the bottom of your out breath, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Forward folds. Inhale to a half forward fold, lifting your chest. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms and rise tall in mountain. Exhale your arms by your sides. Once more, Surya Namaskar A, continuously. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. This time either walk to plank first or lightly jump into Chaturanga Dandasana, whether cobra or upward facing dog. Let's meet in downward facing dog. This time let your body be still once you get there. Steady your gaze or drishti as you listen to your breath. Now continue to draw your hips up and back as you inhale to raise your right leg behind you. Exhaling, bending your right knee, turn out your right thigh bone at the hip like we did in the beginning. Inhaling here, draw your left hip further back. And as you exhale, slowly tap your right knee outside of your right upper arm, coming forward to plank. And gently step your right foot down outside of your right hand, lowering your back knee or keeping it lifted, your choice. You could also have blocks under your hands. As you inhale, broaden your chest forward and gently scissor your right hip back. As you exhale, curl your right toes up, flexing the foot, and begin to straighten your right leg just the degree that you can bow inside of it with a long spine, not rounding your back. Then inhale, rebend your right knee, set the foot between your hands down the midline of your mat and spin your back heel down. Exhale, press through your feet and windmill your arms, arriving at Warrior Two. Let's stay here for a few breaths. Now, as your left leg is slightly turned inward, firm the outside edge of that foot into the floor and straighten your left leg. Turn your right leg completely outward from the hip, so you're rolling your sitting bone down under, aligning the center of your right knee with your center right toe facing forward as you bend the knee just on top of your ankle. Feel that your frontal hip bones are slightly lifting towards your lowest front ribs, helping to lengthen your spine fully as you relax your shoulders down and reach out to your arms and fingertips. Steady your gaze just ahead of your right hand. Now, as you straighten your right leg to prepare for triangle pose, you might slide your left foot forward an inch or two for a shorter stance. Firm the front muscles of your thighs without locking your knees, and slide your pelvis sideways towards the rear edge of your mat, reaching your right arm horizontally forward as far as you can, before beginning to tilt your right hand down to land on your right leg, or just to the right of your leg, perhaps using a block, where you could firm your arm and leg against each other. As you continue to wrap your right outer hip under your body, direct your tailbone to lengthen towards your left outer heel, while reaching your crown forward through the same line of energy in the opposite direction. Reaching your left arm to the sky, lighten the weight of your right hand by firming the muscles in your side waist. Turn your chest slightly to face the sky as you release your shoulder blades down your back. Perhaps gazing up, choose one focal point for your eyes. Rotating your left outer upper arm towards your left wall. Sweep your left arm overhead, look down at your right foot. Frame your right ankle with your two hands in plank pose, entering. Take it all the way down into your vinyasa or cat-cow pose. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Steady your gaze, steady your breath. Now, as you continue to lift both hips high and back, Inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale, bend your left knee and turn open at your hip. As you breathe in, tack your right hip further back. Exhale, lightly tap your left knee outside your left upper arm. Then gently set your left foot outside of your left hand, entering lizard lunge. Whether you lower your back knee or keep it lifted, or maybe place your hands on your blocks. Breathe in and broaden your chest forward. Scissor your left hip back. Breathe out and flex your left toes up while straightening your left leg, thigh bone back. Extend your chest forward and bow. Inhale to rebend your left knee, set your foot between your hands and drop your right heel, heel to arch alignment. Exhale, cartwheel your arms apart and rise up. Warrior two. So as you rotate your right leg slightly inward in this pose, firm the outside edge of your right foot into the floor and straighten your right leg. Rotating your left outer hip slightly beneath your body. Align the center of your left knee with your middle left toe facing forward, while stacking your left knee just over the ankle. Slightly lift your frontal hip bones, and in orienting your pelvic bowl upright and balanced, feel the full space, length of your spine. Broaden across your arms and reach through your fingertips, steadying your gaze just past your left hand. Then straightening your left leg to prepare for triangle, you might scoot your right foot inward 2 or 3 inches shorter stance. Firm the front muscles of your thighs without locking your knees. Slide your pelvis sideways towards the rear edge of your mat. Reach your left arm forward horizontally as far as you can before lowering your hand onto your left leg or just to the left of your leg, right under your shoulder, where arm and leg get firm against each other. As you continue to wrap your left outer hip under your body, reach your tailbone back towards your right outer heel. Then trace the opposite end of that line of energy through the crown of your head, reaching towards your front wall. Spiral your chest slightly towards the sky and feel the reach up to your right fingertips. Help lighten the weight of your left hand. Steady your gaze. Rotating your right outer upper arm to face your right wall. Sweep your right arm overhead towards your front wall, then look down at your left foot. Lower your hands to frame it and step into plank pose, entering your own vinyasa or cat-cow. Downward facing dog, take 3 to 5 breaths, letting your body be still. Bending your knees, look ahead of your hands. We're gonna land sitting at the center of your mat with your legs straight in front of you on the floor. If you'd like to try to slide your legs through your arms, bring your feet together, maybe inch them forward, bend your knees and lift your heels and hips really high. Look about 3 feet ahead of your fingertips on the ground. And after you exhale, hollowing your belly, lift your hips high, hold your breath out, and think of lifting your pelvic floor to help you float your legs through your arms. And coming down to sit. Set your feet on the ground, hips distance, parallel, press them down and lift up from your pelvic floor through each vertebra to your crown. Extend your arms forward with your palms face up, shoulders relaxed, and take a few breaths to very slowly lower onto your back. Once your head meets the ground, lift both of your legs towards the sky so that your ankles, knees, and hips stack. You could bend the knees lightly if needed. Point or flex your feet and raise your arms towards the sky, interlacing your fingers except your index. Take a deep breath in as you firm your belly. Exhale, lift your head and twist to your right. Lifted and twisting, perhaps pressing your left forearm against your right thigh. And if your neck needs some support, use your right palm to rest the back of your skull against. Take a deep breath in and lower your left leg slowly forward to hover your heel just about 2 inches off the floor. Exhale, slowly raise your left leg again to meet the right. Let's try 4 more. Inhale, lower, reaching your left index finger towards the upper right corner of your room. Exhale, lift. That's 4. Inhale, lower, spiraling your torso. Exhale, lift. 3. Inhale, lower, relax your face. Exhale, 2. Inhale, lower. Exhale, 1. Relax your head and shoulders, but keep your legs lifted. Unflex or unpoint your toes, and just take a deep breath into your nose. Open your eyes and mouth wide and stick out your tongue, lion's breath. Now point or flex your toes. Interlace your fingers towards the sky, except your index. Take a deep breath in, firm your abdomen. Exhale, lift your head and shoulders and twist to your left. Stay lifted and twisted, perhaps pressing your right forearm against your left thigh or supporting your skull with your left palm. Inhale, slowly lower your right leg forward. Hover your heel about 2 inches off the ground. Exhale, slowly lift your right leg. That's 5. Inhale, lower, spiraling your torso at your waistline. Exhale, lift. 4. Inhale, lower, reaching your right index fingers forward and to the left. Exhale, 3. Inhale, lower, softening your eyes, softening your jaw. Exhale, 2. 1 more. Inhale, lower. And exhale, lift. Lower your head and shoulders. Turn out both of your thighs at your hips with bent knees. Catch hold of your outer feet or grab your strap if it's hard to reach them. Use your strap around your outer feet like an extension of your arms to sandwich your soles together as you ground your tailbone and splay your thighs wider apart. You might even wiggle your pelvis side to side, taking a few deep breaths, maybe another lion's breath, or flutter your lips. Sort of a bound angle pose, supine, but taking flight. From here, draw your bent knees together, round your back, lift, squeeze and tighten. Inhale, straighten your legs flat on the floor and raise your arms overhead, get long. Contract your belly and exhale, re-round, lifting your head and shoulders like a ball. 2 more. Inhale, lengthen onto the ground. Contract your belly, exhale, lift and hug in. Lengthen as you inhale. Last time, exhale, lift and hug in. This time, begin to rock and roll forward and back several times to build momentum. We'll land sitting in chair pose or air sitting in chair pose. Feet together, knees together, tailbone lengthening down, bottom front ribs softening inward, chest broad, gazing forward or up, shoulders relaxed. Breathe in, breathe out 3. Breathe in, glide your shin bones back. Breathe out 2. Maybe sit a little lower. Inhale. Smile. This is the last breath here. And then set your feet flat to rise all the way up to stand. So from here, I'm going to face you and mirror you. Starting in mountain pose as you spread your weight through the four corners of your feet. Activate energy through your legs. The arches of your feet lift, your kneecaps slightly lift but don't lock. The engagement of your quadriceps. Navel draws in and lifts up. Feel the rooting and rising. And then as you shift your weight onto your left foot, bringing your left hand to your left hip, bend your right knee in front of you and catch the outside of it. Take a moment to rebalance your two hips in height. Press downward, lift your pelvic floor and crown, and stack your two shoulders relaxed, just over your hips. Steady your gaze ahead, and either keep your right knee bent as you splay it open slowly, left arm opens too, or bring your right arm inside of the leg and clasp your big toe, still flexing the foot as you begin to straighten your right leg forward and draw your right shoulder head back and down. Then, turning out your right leg, open it, as well as your left arm. So choosing the variation of hand to big toe pose, that is a good balance of challenge, stability, effort, and ease. Take notice how you're balancing those qualities in your breath. Slowly bring your right leg in front of you, whether it's bent or straight. Raise your left arm towards the sky. Standing tall, feel the qualities of your mountain pose, though only one leg is on the ground. Connect to the center line of your body. Connect to your center. Take another breath in. And slowly step your right foot down. Arms by your sides. Pause and just observe. What comes up, perhaps in moments of challenge physically? Comes up in the mind? Can we notice any habitual thoughts? With kindness, noticing, without any need to judge them. Second side, as you bring your right hand to your right hip, press down to the four corners of your right foot. Flexing your left foot, bend your left knee in front of the hip, catching the outer knee with your left hand. Pause here and feel your foundation, breath, stacking of major joints in your body, connection to your center. Now you could keep your left knee bent and turn out the leg, the right arm, or bring your left arm inside of your leg and clasp your big toe while still flexing the foot to some degree. Straighten your left leg forward and draw your left shoulder back and down. Then turn out your left leg, open it, and open your right arm. All the while noticing through the context of this physical pose, what happens in your inner world? Balancing can often provoke feelings of falling or even failing, a metaphor for falling. How do we handle that when it does happen? Utthita Hasta Parangushtas. Hand to big toe pose. As you gaze forward, slowly bring your left leg forward where the knee is bent or the leg is straight. Raise your right arm up. Feel the stacking of your shoulder girdle above your pelvic girdle. Though your body is asymmetrical in this pose, can you find an energetic symmetry as you hug your midline? Find balance in your breath. Take another breath in. And slowly set your left foot down. Back to Samasthitihi. equal standing pose. A few breaths. So standing at the center of your mat and facing the wide width, we're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold. So if you'd like to have 2 blocks to place your hands on, place them in front of you. Then step or jump your feet wide apart, parallel your feet, and bring your hands to your hips. Roll your shoulders back as you take a deep breath, opening your chest up. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Keep your spine long, so if needed, you could bend your knees and lower your fingertips. Inhale, lift your chest and lengthen your spine forward, parallel to the floor. Place your right hand front and center on a block of the ground, and exhale, raise your left arm and begin to twist just at your each inhalation, forward. Rotation of your rib cage like a globe spinning on the axis of the spine. As you release your shoulders down your back, your neck, perhaps gazing up past your left fingertips. Take another full breath. Exhale your left hand down in place of the right. Keep your hips balanced and raise your right arm. Breathe in, lengthen the top of your head forward. Then at your waist, begin to twist to your right. Breath by breath, exploring the range of your twist, while drawing your left outer hip back. Take another deep breath in. Exhale your 2 hands down. Bend your knees, bring your hands to your hips, leading with your chest. Inhale to slowly rise up. Then bring your feet together, just a foot behind the top edge of your mat. Bend your knees together into chair pose. Chair pose, feel a sense of lifting your pelvic floor as you relax your shoulders, steadying your eyes and your breath. Lifting your heels, see if you can sink your hips a little lower and back. Keep your heels lifted, your pelvic floor lifted. Splay out your knees, keep the inner edges of your feet touching, and sink your hips lower and lower, maybe placing your hands on blocks or the floor. Think of a hybrid of a squat and child's pose as you sink your pelvis back and crawl your hands forward, lowering your forehead towards a block or the ground. Stay here and rest, or use this as a transition into crow pose, an arm balance, in which you place your hands 1 foot in front of your toes, hands shoulders width apart, arms parallel. Then lifting your hips, hollowing your belly, hug your knees high onto the outsides of your armpits and upper arms. Gaze on the floor 3 feet ahead of your fingertips to help rock your weight forward as you bend your elbows back, creating a shelf out of your upper arms through which your knees root down so that your hips, your torso can lift up. Notice the same actions in your palms, rooting down to lift your weight off the ground. How is your breath? Crow pose, sometimes called Bakasana. We're going to meet in Sphinx pose, however way you want to get there. Maybe you step back to hands and knees and take a few cat-cows. Maybe from crow you float into Chaturanga Dandasana. Take a vinyasa and lower. Setting up your elbows just slightly in front of your shoulders with your forearms parallel in front. Lift and broaden your chest.
Feel your toes actively stretching your legs back. Spiral your inner thighs. Let your outer thighs wrap downward towards the earth. Press back and lengthen your tailbone. As your shoulders, ribs, take a couple last breaths and thanks. To continue to smile your collarbones wide apart, slightly lifting your sternum without cranking your neck. Then lower your belly and forehead to the ground. Bring your arms behind you to interlace your fingers, bound locust pose. Keep spiraling your thighs slightly towards the sky, pressing your heels actively back, parallel your feet. Then coiling your chest up, reach the knuckles of your hands towards your heels, lifting your legs. Everything you can lift, count 5 to 10 breaths. Now you could stay in bound locust or transition while you're here into bow, Dhanurasana. Bending your knees, catching your outer feet, and kicking your legs straight back as you pull your feet closer in. And when you're ready to let it go, maybe make a pillow out of your forearms, turn your head to one side, pigeon toe your feet, and take a few belly breaths, exhaling to your mouth. Let's begin the same way with some options to divert into variations. So bring your forehead to the ground, bring your knees close together. Remember, whatever back bend you arrive at, to keep your knees no wider apart than hips distance, as that helps to support stability in your lower back. Interlace the opposite thumb and index behind you, preparing for bound Shalabhasana, locust pose. Press your heels back actively to lift your legs, then coil your chest up, lightly lifting your head. Draw your shoulder blades down your back and reach the knuckles of your hands towards your feet. Now you could stay here. You could again go into bow pose, catching your outer feet. You could open your arms in other variations of locust, or maybe even reach your arms forward. More rigor in the back muscles there. Make sure not to over-engage your glutes, especially if you're reaching your arms forward. Take at least 5 more deep breaths in whatever variation you've chosen. If you're holding your feet, you could roll over to one shoulder, get a deep stretch into the inside of it, and then to the other shoulder. And once you've let it go, turn your head in the opposite direction to rest. Either pigeon toe your feet or gently windshield wiper your shins together side to side. Deep belly breaths in, long sighs out to your mouth. Then land your hands alongside your floating ribs. Press your body up to a seated position with legs in front of you. Let's take our spinal twist sitting upright. So extending your left leg forward. I'm going to mirror you. Bend your right knee and set your right foot on the ground, just in front of your right hip to start. Backstroke your right arm to the floor, just behind your pelvis, and flex both of your feet. Cross your left hand to catch your outer right foot. Lift your spine upright by pressing downward to your sitting bones, and begin to kick your right leg forward off the ground towards straight. As you pull it in towards you, using those counter forces to help align your shoulders above your hips, the crown of your head above your tailbone, as you twist, turning your chest to the right. Maybe even lifting your right arm off the floor, reaching it back, looking towards it, Slide your shoulder blades down your back ribs. Keep lifting through the back of your skull, twisting through your waistline. Take another deep breath. And exhale to unwind. Bend your right knee and cross your thigh completely over your left thigh as much as you can. Half cow face pose. And we're gonna fold forward in a moment, but if you wanna use a strap, you can step the ball of your left foot in the strap and hold the strap with 2 hands. Otherwise, frame your left leg with your 2 hands. Breathe in, lift your chest, open your throat. Keeping a long spine, breathe out and begin to hinge forward from your hips. Exploring the range of your forward fold through each breath. If you're catching hold of the inside and outside of your left foot, bend your elbows apart if possible and slightly coil your chest up, creating a small back bend like a cobra. Leading with your chest, breathe in to slowly rise. Now take hold of your right sole and right knee, the leg that's on top. Flex your right foot and think of thread the needle when we did it lying down on our back. So your right shin, as much as you can, is crossing in front of your torso. You could use your right hand to help spin out your right thigh bone at the hip, perhaps holding your right knee. Maybe even bending your left knee so that your ankle could rest on top. If you are holding like a cradle, your right shin, begin to rock it like a baby and give your right hip a little massage here as you try to sit tall. Now this is a preparation for compass pose. And if you'd like to enter compass pose, take hold of your outer right foot with your right hand and begin to splay your right knee open, just like a seated version of half happy baby. Then with your left hand crossing in front of your, take hold of the outside edge of your right foot, crossing over the top of the foot. Thread your right arm in front of your right thigh and imagine that your right thigh is like a backpack strap you're putting onto your right shoulder as much as you can. And as you press down with your right fingertips, lift your spine. Now stay right here, or begin to straighten your right leg as long as you can stay seated upright. And then there's a spiraling of your chest towards the sky, looking beneath your left arm. Compass pose. Whatever version that you're in, take one more breath. And exhale to reverse the stages slowly, bending your right knee and setting your right foot down. Straighten both of your legs for a moment and pause, sitting tall in Dandasana stick pose. Observing how your body may have reacted or feels on both sides. Then step your left foot in front of the hip. Backstroke your left hand to the floor behind your pelvis. Flex both of your feet and cross your right hand to the outside of your left foot. Kicking your left leg forward towards straight as you pull the foot towards you. Lift your spine upright and twist to your left. Maybe lifting your left hand behind you, perhaps looking past it. Slide your shoulders down your back and keep lifting to your crown. Take one more breath in. And as you exhale, unwind your spine and cross your left thigh, bending the knee over your right thigh. Preparing for half Gomukhasana, you might use a strap around the ball of your right foot or hands on the floor. Breathe in, flex your right foot, sit tall. Breathe out, hinge forward, little by little each breath. Integrating a little bit of cobra pose by coiling your chest lightly up as you fold deeper. Take one more breath here in Ardha Gomukhasana. Then leading with your chest, breathe in, slowly rise up. Now let's take hold of the sole of your left foot and the knee. Flex your left foot, turn out your left thigh from the hip. Maybe take a figure four shape by bending your right knee to stack your left ankle over the thigh. Or cradle the crook between the crooks of your elbows, your knee and arch of your foot. Maybe even rock the baby for a few breaths. If you'd like to venture into compass pose, take hold of the outside edge of your left foot with your right hand, and then put your left thigh onto your left, towards your left shoulder like a backpack strap as you press down with your left fingertips on the ground. Then sitting up tall, perhaps straighten your left leg, spiral your chest as you look up past your right elbow towards the sky. Shoulders relaxing down. Feel space, length in your lower spine. Take another deep breath wherever you are. And as you exhale, slowly unwind through the stages that got you there. Let's come on down to our backs, drawing your bent knees into your chest. Hugging your body in with a deep breath of gratitude. Hold your breath in for a few seconds and maybe squeeze in a little bit more, sip in a little more air. Then as you open your mouth, splay open your arms and legs to rest right into the stillness of your Shavasana, corpse pose. experience ourselves over and over again as a tree, a fish, a crow, a dog, a child, a crane, not separate, but one with all creation. The asana slowly wear away our sense of isolated self as water wears away a rock. The heart settles, and for and against fade like shadows before the sun. Allow your body to move in any way it needs to gently ease out of stillness. Taking your time to let your body rise into a comfortable, alert seat. If you'll join us for 5 minutes of sitting silently in meditation, find the posture that serves you to be watchful of your mind. I'm setting the timer now for 5 minutes. Slowly expanding your awareness from your mind to your breath, to your physical body and sensations. Ease your attention into your surrounding space, your environment. And gently bring your palms to meet at your heart, this gesture of bowing in to the wisdom within you and that which connects us with each other. Feeling our interconnection, how do you stimulate that as you move through the rest of your day? Finding new angles to see other people as perhaps reflections of yourself. Finding commonalities. Let's close the practice with one Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.